Everyone, Nick here. So I'm just going to be doing a recap on yesterday's trades, as well as go over a few potential setups today. If you like these videos and they're useful, just hit the like button on the video real quick and let's get started. So GBP New Zealand dollar, I was waiting on price to break back below this daily level. I thought the downtrend continuing was likely. However, we didn't get a break back below the support resistance area. So instead, price just sort of found support and then kept going up. So there were no trades placed. I had an alert right here. If GBP New Zealand broke back below, I guess I'll just remove that now. But yeah, so price just continued up. So, price may reverse here or it may just continue into an uptrend. We don't know, but it didn't set up how I wanted it to. It didn't come and like break back below the level retest. So yeah, it's no more trade for GBP New Zealand dollar. For GBP AUD, this was actually an interesting setup. Here in the daily chart, price is moving downwards. So we had a high right here. We had lower lows, lower highs, and we made a lower low. I'm thinking price may be forming a lower high right here. We could see, we've already seen a lot of momentum at that previous low here that price is reversing at. But I don't know. I still think overall, GBP AUD could continue lower. It's really gonna depend on what price does right here. So here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for rejection right here. If price is going to continue into its downtrend, it'll likely return to this low. And if it's really going to continue, it'll likely make a new low. So here's kind of the situation I'll be looking for. This is on the daily. If we go to the H4, we can see the H4 level a little bit more clearly. You're welcome to always use a zone on these areas. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to encapsulate all the price moves that are going in. What I've done is I've actually just taken these two lows right here and said, hey, this is a pretty defined support level. And I just put that right there and price has come back and now it's retesting that zone. So as you can see, price is actually pushing above it right now. It's pushed above it with an H4 candle closure. And it's come back and it looks like it's pinning the zone to the upside. So still very bullish price action right now. So see, it's broken above, it's tested. So I think it'll really just come down to what the actual zone is, what the actual level is. If we go back to the 1 hour to sort of like fine tune the zone and see if we can see. The zone could be up here. Could be one of those. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to see where price starts finding some resistance at. It looks like this is actually a better zone to use. It looks like there's more data around this actual zone. If we look here in the past, we can see there's support there, liquidity spike below, break back above and retest. Same thing right here, break and retest below. So maybe this is the actual zone. So this is what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be waiting for price to for one, just go a little bit higher up to this zone, because I think this one's the actual one to be looking at. Then I'm going to wait for it to start rejecting. Then what I'm going to wait for is I'm going to wait for price to spike above the zone. And then if it comes back and tests and goes up, cool. I avoided, a stop out and a trade that, probably wasn't going to go into profit. But if it breaks above and it tries to find support, but then it fails and breaks back below, what I will do is I'll wait for a retest of this area and then, a potential like reversal back here down to these lows, or honestly a lower low. If I'm going to get into this trade, I'm really going to want to have like a banger that just goes into huge profit. So this is what I'm going to look for. I'm going to wait. I'm going to see if the buyers can really hold above this level. And if they can, then that's cool. They can take price upwards. But I'm personally, I'm looking for sells. This is a daily zone right here. We did just have a double bottom, but then again, price makes double bottoms and double tops all the time. I think what's more important is to look at the grand scheme of things. And in the grand scheme of things, it looks like price could be having a temporary reversal right here. But even if I was a buyer right here at this support zone, I'd probably be getting out around either this horizontal zone right here or this downtrend zone that's coming into play. So I wouldn't be a buyer for much longer. So yeah, I'm looking for sells right there. I'm just waiting on that to set up. So Euro AUD was an interesting one. I wanted to take some sells on this yesterday, and in fact, I still might look to do so. I shared this on a live session with Mission FX students yesterday. Essentially, it's like a daily break and retest of this zone. If you go to the daily and you look at what price is doing right here, price has just broken the lows, came down below, came up, retested it with sharp rejection. So what I did is I went to the H1 chart and I just sort of fine-tuned the zone a little bit. There's rejection, there's lows, resistance here, minor resistance here, break above, retest at support, break back below, and resistance right there. So this is actually where I was looking to place the trade at. If we go down to like minute 30, minute 15, whenever I was looking at this pair yesterday on my live session with Mission FX clients, price was like right in here. So I was waiting for price to push further up and come back to the zone. That's why this alert was right here. And I was waiting for that to happen. What I thought was going to happen is if price could come there, I would get an entry. Stop would just go right above the zone, and I would just be targeting a new low, which would be a confluence of this next daily level. If you go on the daily chart, the next set of lows are right here at this zone at 1.5981. And it's also the negative 272 fib extension. So there's two good reasons, maybe three, to take profits right there. It'd be a lower low, it'd be negative 272 on fib, and it would also be a daily support zone. So this is kind of what I was expecting, or sort of anticipating would happen. It looks like instead of coming back up, price just ripped downward. So that was cool. Price ripped downwards, and it came back up to retest this area, and then it found rejection a couple times, sold off, but then we had a quick sharp spike back above, and now it looks like it's finding support right here. So yeah, really weird. I mean, if this pair was going to go down, it probably would have done it like, down here, or maybe after that retest. The fact that it's like played around, tried to go down again, but then it got pushed up, I don't know, it's not the best sign. I think something good to do if you're wanting to still take shorts on this is wait for like a break below this area, followed by a retest, a really strong retest of this zone to try to like break back above it. And if price fails to hold above the zone, then maybe look to get into sells to target this previous area down here. So this is what I'm going to be waiting for. I don't know how confident I am that this trade's still going to work out. Price has sort of gone into a range now. But yeah, I mean, overall, if you look at the daily and the H4, I still think it's got a lot of, still got faith that this thing could drop at least back to the previous lows, if not that next daily support. So it's something I'm going to be keeping my eye on. So that's sell bias for Euro AUD. On the contrary, we have Euro USD with a buyer's bias or bullish bias. Depending on what time frame you look at, if you look at the daily, it looks kind of bullish, looks really bullish. If you look at the H4, it looks really bullish. Price has been going up. We've gathered into a range. Tried to break the previous lows right here, but failed. Broke back above, came tested here, and continued the uptrend. And then we had price go above here and trigger my alert. So we had a price spike above this zone. I had this mapped out yesterday, what I was looking for. I wanted to see it break above and a retest of this area with rejection before going up. So what I'm going to be doing and looking for in Euro USD, I think this is the zone right here. Those are some extreme highs right there. Price could also be trying to find some support resistance at this zone right here, but it's more of a minor level. I think I'm just going to use the one on top because it's like literally 3 times has had rejection. So I'm just going to use that one. What I'm just going to be looking for is for price to just come back into this zone. I've zoomed in here on minute 15. You can use minute 30 or hourly for this. Sometimes you can see it a little bit clearer on like minute 30, minute 15. But I'm going to wait for price to come back here, start bouncing a little bit. If it starts bouncing, that's great. Then I'm going to wait to see if price can like swipe below the lows. And if it does, I'll just wait for it to come back above the level. And then if it does that, when price comes back to retest, I'll look to get an entry after that. This will mean that price has tried to like break down below the level, but it fails, and then it comes back up and starts finding support. And then if that happens, then I'll just look to target a higher high. So yeah, this is what I'll be looking for in Euro USD. A solid test of the support level, or the resistance turn potential support. It's essentially just going to boil down to a break and retest of a daily level. That's it. Break and retest of a daily support resistance level. So that's what I'm going to look for. We'll see if that sets up. I'll take off. Actually, no, I'm watching all these. So ADJPY, I called this trade yesterday. Ended up going into profit for a bit, and it has since come back to stop out. I didn't move my stop to break even. I was convinced this thing would continue up, but it didn't. This is where I called it on the YouTube video yesterday. Price just pushed up right after entered, broke the recent highs, came back to test them, found some nice rejection there along those highs as support, So yeah, I mean, it looked good to go. Before I was going to bed last night, it had come back to my entry and it was sort of around break even. I considered closing the trade at break even, but at the same time I was like, if it's gonna reverse, it's probably gonna do it right here at this support level. And if it doesn't reverse here at this support level, then it's probably gonna stop out or screw around more and be a real pain. So I ended up just staying in the trade. I thought maybe it was just coming back to retest that support and go up. It ended up having another liquidity spike lower. So if you guys remember in the video that I shared yesterday, I said if price swipes back below this low and knocks out that low, I said I'll probably get stopped out. It's exactly what happened. It swiped out below. As it turns out, price had this initial wave of buying sensitivity of liquidity. Price went up. Like when I say liquidity, I just mean orders. I mean buy orders. Like if price has found enough orders to go up, it's usually going to go up. Just like if price, finds enough sell orders, then it's usually going to go down. But so price had that initial, bull run for like a minute there, for like maybe like 2 hours, 3 hours. And then it just like came back below, tried to find support here, just collapsed, and then has since just come down here. So I honestly, I feel like I'll go ahead and take this short position tool off right now since we're done with this. I feel like if price was really going to make its move, it would have already done it. Maybe price just needs to find more liquidity or more buy orders or get more steam to continue up. I don't know. Sometimes price will do this where it just knocks out the first low, then goes up, then it knocks out the second low, and then it tries to go up there. And then if there's not enough orders there, then what'll usually end up happening is price will just make it a sharp sell off, a quick collapse, or it'll have another like sharp spike downwards, knock out those lows or retest them before a quick spike upwards and then retest, and then maybe it'll go from there. So I don't know. I think Gbpnzd is being like a real pain right now. So I'm still going to be looking for potential buys, but I'm not going to be as quick to pull the trigger. We do have like this new sub support level forming right here. So it's like, I don't know. When stuff gets sloppy like this, you got to understand, like if price is going to make its move, it would break above the zone like it did right here, broke above these highs. And then it would come back and test the zone. And if it shows rejection like it did right there, then it's just going to go up. Sometimes it'll come and it'll retest the zone once more like it did here before going up. Sometimes it'll come and it'll retest the zone. It starts rejecting, then it goes up. You got to understand, like if price really had the momentum to go up, it'll probably do it, like whenever it comes to retest. It probably won't screw around a ton. Sometimes what you'll see happen like right here is price broke above this area right here, came back, found some support, tried to go up, couldn't knock out the highs right here, and overall it's just like a daily H4 uptrend. And then it came back below, swiped below these lows, took out the lows right here, and found liquidity, found buy orders, whatever it is, it's went and swiped below. And then down here, it gathered the momentum to then go up, and then it found enough buy orders. So we had a quick push up, a pullback back here to the initial support level, followed by just a couple of retests before price ended up making the move upwards. So, sometimes price just has to find enough orders to go up. So price could still go up right here. But like I said, I'm not... It's easier if it just like sets up and then starts going into profit, versus if it tries a million times and it swipes back and forth and it goes into a range. You typically take more stop outs if it doesn't work out the first time. That's not to say like sometimes I'll re-enter and stuff, but it's like price is broken above, it's come back to retest. It doesn't look like it's showing a ton of rejection. It looks like it did initially, like right here for a second. Yeah, I don't know. Looks kind of weird now, but so yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this off my chart for the time being. I don't want to get lost in any weird trades. I just want to focus on the good ones. So another one is New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. So I got into this trade. It ended up going in a good profit. I think it was almost a 1-to-7 risk reward ratio. If you guys remember, I shared this on yesterday's video. Go back to my channel and just look up, yesterday's video about the AED/JPY live trade. I also covered this in there, and I also shared this in my free Telegram channel, which you can I shared it's all on my free Telegram channel. You can hit the link in the description of this video. You do my free training. It's like 30 minutes long. After my free training, I actually give you free access to this Telegram channel where I periodically on some weeks, I'll share all my trades, all my analysis, this and that, as long as I have time to do it. And you can literally follow my trades for free. So this was my terminal last night before I sort of went to bed. But, or I'm sorry, this was around noon. So the trades were going good. New Zealand CAD, everything's going good. But then I woke up this morning and this was my terminal. So it's like pretty much, break even on the day. Small loss. ADJPY stopped out. New Zealand CAD hit break even. So yeah, I mean, that happens sometimes. I mean, you got to look at it this way. Like if price would have come all the way down here to make a lower low, right, on the daily, which it still could. This would be like it would be almost 7,000. It'd be like 6,500. And that was risking only $500 on this trade. So, if that's going to happen, it's going to happen. It'll happen every now and then. But you got to look at it this way. If you win one trade for like $6,000, $7,000, whatever, $10,000, and then you take a couple other stop outs where you lose, maybe like 1,000, 500, 1,500, 2,000. So you take 4 stop outs before you ended up getting the one big winner. If your winner is like $7,000, and then you had 4 stop outs before that on some other trades, that wiped out like maybe $2,000 if you're risking $500 per trade, then you still made a nice profit. You still made a profit of like 5K. So it's winning a little bit more in your winners, or a lot more in your winners than you lose in your losers. Sometimes price just needs to find more liquidity to end up making its moves. In this case, I thought this would be enough to send this pair downwards. I shared all this analysis in Telegram, so you can just go and look at it all there. I'm still convinced price will go down. I just think it wasn't ready yet. I just think it didn't have enough orders to really sustain the move down. So if we're looking a little bit closer here, it looks like price has swiped at the highs again. That's the most recent high. I'll take all this off the chart right here so we can get a better look at it. I'll take this order off so you can see when the huge profit. I just had to stop to break even right there. So we have not breached that extreme high. We just came up. Looks like we just retested maybe one of these levels again. So that right there, I guess the level. That's a really weird level. I think this one makes a little bit more sense. So yeah, so that's happened. We've broke back in. Maybe we'll end up going right now. It's really hard to tell. So yeah, I'm not sure. I really feel like I'm hesitant to take re-entries right now because I just feel like if it was gonna make its move, I just feel like it would have done it like right here. So here's what I'm gonna wait for in New Zealand CAD if it even happens. What I'm gonna wait for is I'm trying to clear this up as much as I can. So yeah, I'm going to take all this off and I'm going to use this new level, which is right here. So the top of the range or whatever where price is channeling at, that's it now. What I'm going to wait for price to really make another push up to this level and test. And I'm going to wait for price to spike past this zone and take out that high right there. And that's what I'm going to wait for first. Okay, so that's what I'll wait for first. And I'm going to set an alert just above that high to just keep in mind. New Zealand CAD spiked above resistance. Then what I'm going to do is if I get that alert notification that price is swiped above that high, that means that a lot of people getting in sells here right at this resistance zone, they're probably like either in drawdown or have already been stopped out. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait. I'm going to see, do the buyers really have the upper hand? If it comes back to retest this zone, probably a break and retest, it'll continue up. That's fine. Perfectly fine. Whatever. But if it doesn't do this, if price breaks back down below this level and then comes up and starts finding some resistance here, then in this case, I'll look to take sells because in this case, what it will be is that, price came down here, came up, found some resistance, should have gone, made a lower low right there, but it didn't. Price came up, found some resistance again, swiped up above. The buyers tried really hard, to go and crack above this zone, go into a new uptrend, make a new higher high and sustain. Buyers tried really hard, but it failed. Then we had another like nice little push downwards here. And then now for like the third time, like this is 1, 2, 3 times. So the third time price is swiped up. I really want to see if the buyers have what it takes to push price past this zone. If price pushes past up here past these highs, then cool. It'll knock out, the high. Maybe it'll retest and continue an uptrend, just like I said. But if this happens and price comes back in, breaks back below the zone and comes and starts testing, then yeah, I really think it's likely price will have found the orders or liquidity necessary to continue down. And maybe it'll continue to the lows, maybe it'll make a new low. I'm personally on the side of thinking that it's going to try to make a new low. So it's going to be people buying right there at that previous high. If you're looking at the daily or weekly, I don't know. I'm convinced that the uptrend has worn off and price has gone into a sell-off for the time being. We've had nice little pushes up here. I think it's more likely that price will come down to a level with more weight, something like this, something that's more clearly defined. So this was like resistance. That looks like a liquidity spike. It doesn't look like that's an actual level. Price looks like it's holding there as support, but I think a stronger level would be this level down here. This is because price has like found resistance, swipe past it, resistance here, break above, retest here. Went up. I think this level holds more weight, so targeting a level like that, I think price is more than likely to pull back to there. And then if price pulls there, I actually might be looking for buys at that level. That would look like it'd be a safe area to look for a long position. So that's the plan for New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. I'm just gonna wait for it to swipe up. Buyers are acting like they're really strong right now. So if it swipes up, continues up, cool, it's whatever. But if it breaks above but then comes back in, then I'll look to take this for sells. So as far as other pairs, I don't see a ton of other stuff going on right now. Starting on the daily, New Zealand dollar JPY rejected a daily high recently. Maybe it'll come back to support. No trades right now though. New Zealand dollar USD. Ooh, I really thought this thing was gonna break last night. So price had just gone kind of into a range. It had broken above this daily high, came up, retested, couldn't hold a new high, came back, found some support. I guess it didn't have enough orders to go up right there, so it swiped below the zone, came up real quick. And then price has gone back to this daily level right here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up these highs right there. It looks like price is respecting that. So getting a closer look at the H4 and daily levels here on this here on the lower time from the 1 hour. I'm going to have to go lower because I can't even see what it's doing at the zone. So here, now we can actually see what price is doing. So that's a daily extreme resistance right here, just viewed on the lower time frames, minute 15, minute 30. Like I said, you can even use 1 hour to do this if you want. It doesn't really matter. You can just whatever time frame you can clearly see the rejections at. I only look for rejections on lower time frames at the daily levels. Like I don't use any other levels in my trading. Generally, sometimes maybe I will, but for the most part, all my trades are taken based off daily 4-hour levels. I just use lower time frames sometimes for entry. Like the H1 is all you really need. Once you get a little bit more experience and you test your trading system, maybe try out minute 30, minute 15, see if it helps you pinpoint your entries better. But yeah, so this is pretty interesting. So check it out. So this was the initial resistance zone right here, right? Price was coming up to resistance there. Found resistance once, twice, 3 times, broke above, tried to find some support, but it could not make a new high. Price could not find the momentum to push past that. So fell back here into the trading range, didn't even come and retest before just selling off all the way to the lows. Then it looks like price was trying to find some support here. I'm just adjusting that level a little bit lower to show. So we found some support there. Found some support here and here. Then price just straight up cracked below it. Retested it, was finding resistance. Started forming a couple higher lows before cracking back above the zone, testing, and then trading back up to the top of this trading range. Found some initial resistance there. Then price has swiped above. And now it's since come back, broken back below this zone. Now, so here's what I'm thinking. Here's what looks like it's gonna happen. Keep in mind, if price was going to continue up, right, it probably would have done it right here. It probably would have came and retested, found some rejection, and just pushed up and gone into a further uptrend, or at least made a new high, right? Gives you some profit potential. If price was gonna make its move easy, it's probably gonna do that because when price is in momentum, it'll break above these zones, come back and retest them, and then it'll freaking go up. Like it's just what happens. Same thing here. When price cracks below a zone, sometimes there's so much momentum it won't even come and retest before just continuing through the zone. Another good example is right here. You know, price found resistance here, broke above, came and retested freaking one time before pushing up. So yeah, I mean, if price is going to make its moves, it'll typically do it real quick, right? It typically won't screw around. When you start seeing price screw around, that's when sometimes it'll start, you know, kind of messing with your trade, and it'll cause more stop out to break even. So, I mean, this is what happened on 80 JPY last night to me, right? Like price had swiped below zone, came back up, retested it, found some rejection, and then it just freaking went right up. That's what it's going to do. If it's going to go into a nice trend, it will. Whenever price starts coming back down towards near your entry it's hard to say what's going to happen, because sometimes, like, and I see this happen regularly. Sometimes price will just come back and test your entry or the zone that you entered at, the support resistance level, before just continuing up. Sometimes it just needs that little final test just to feel good about itself before it goes up or whatever. But other times, whenever price comes back, you know, for your entry, sometimes it's coming to try to find more liquidity because there's just not enough orders to take it up. Sometimes people call this manipulation or stop hunts or whatever. You know, I even use those terms sometimes just to illustrate the concept. But it's not like someone's sitting there trying to like take your money or whatever. It's just that price just doesn't have the orders or the momentum or the liquidity or the buys or, you know, whatever. Like, it doesn't have the steam to continue its run up. So it comes back down to search for that. It tries to find areas where it can get that momentum. So yeah, that's one reason why price may have dipped below that low last night, because it just didn't have enough orders. You know, it tried to go here against support, came down just below the support level I entered, tried to go up, and then it couldn't do it right there, so it came back down below, literally swiped out the low, and then it's like, all right, right here, there we go. That's where we found enough orders or momentum or liquidity to then push up. And now, since pushed up here, come and retested right here, and then started to go up. So then it tried to go up here, but then what the hell? Now price is like back at the zone. It's trying to push up here, and now it's trying to push up here right now. I don't know. I'm really convinced that if price was already going to go up this level, like, oh my God, it would have done it like back there. It would have just gone and made a new high. Same thing right here. If price had the momentum, it probably would have just gone up to the top of the trading range and then broken past it or whatever, you know, could have taken partial profits. But you know, it didn't. It screwed around. So that's when stuff gets weird, is whenever it starts screwing around. You can avoid this by setting break even sometimes. Even sometimes you won't be able to avoid it. My New Zealand dollar CAD trade I took it right here. It was like one of these. I think it was like on that. This is the initial zone that I was using. I remember I called this in Telegram, so go back and scroll through my analysis like as I shared it. Price broke back below the zone, you know, came and retested. You know, if it's gonna make its move, like, it'll usually go right there. In this case, it looks like it tested 3 times before going. So that's kind of like the dilemma, the trader's dilemma. Like, should you move your stop to break even super quick, or should you give it a little bit of room before it goes into profit? Now, I believe that once it goes into like some nice profit, then moving stops to break even makes a little bit more sense. But you know, right around your entry, I don't know, 'cause sometimes it just has to like test a couple more times before going. Now, I did move my stop to break even, you know, whenever slightly in profit after it was way down here, because I'm like, look, if price comes all the freaking way back here, I don't want to be in the trade. Typically, if it's coming all the way back up there, it's probably doing that because it didn't have enough sell orders to go back to these lows or to swipe out the lows and break the lows and go into more profit. So that's why I had my break even stop set in that, or just slightly in profit. So it's pretty much break even. But yeah, so it is what it is. That's trading for you. Trading is ever so frustrating, but as long as you got more profits to wipe out the losers, it's fine. I'll have some more huge trades come along eventually. Had a great trading day yesterday. Had a GJ sell that went into almost 4 units of reward, and then had one stop out on GN. So still in profit on the week. It's still fine. And then if these other trades set up, even if I just win 1 or 2 good trades a week, they usually represent the bigger portion of the week's winners. Okay, so the play for New Zealand dollar USD. Here's what I'm doing. I told you in like half an hour what could have taken like 5 minutes. But those of you here in this video, I don't make a whole lot of YouTube videos, or I haven't for like the past month. So consider this you getting your money's worth, even though it's free. Consider you getting your time's worth in this video, really breaking everything down. Because normally I only do this for live sessions with Mission FX clients. Here's what I'm looking for. I'm going to set an alert here at this level, and then if price comes back up to this level, I think it's going to bounce. What will be the logic behind this trade? Price is bouncing at a daily resistance level. Now, I know a lot of you guys will be thinking, but hold on, it's in an uptrend. A break and retest, or it's like found some support right here. So like, what the hell? I would say yes, it's still in a really strong daily uptrend. However, look at it this way. If price was going to go up, it probably would have broken this high right here, come back and found support, and it probably would have gone up already. We'll go to the H4 to get a closer look. It probably would have gone up already if it was going to do that. So, but once you go down into the lower time frames, you start really getting a closer look. You see, okay, well, look, we already had the break and retest, and price already tried to go up, and then it failed. It tried to go up right there, make a new high, tested. It literally tested with rejection. Everything just did not have the orders to go up. So then price came back to the level. I'm like, all right, where are we going to go right now? It didn't. It failed. It broke below the level. It's like, okay, do we have enough orders here, enough buy orders here to send price up? Well, initially, yeah, it did. The price, like screwed around here, broke above. You saw in the minute 15, it literally tested one time before rocketing up. But, we've come to this previous high again, and, price tried to get past it, but it failed. We did not make a new high, and it broke back into the trading range and tested. So what I think is going to happen, what I think is more logical to happen, is that price does not have the momentum to continue up right now. And instead, I think the seller's momentum is more strong right here at this previous high. I think what's more than likely to happen is just after price comes up, retest this zone. As long as it retests there, shows a little bit of rejection on the minute 15, like it just starts to pin away, I'm going to enter this trade as a sell, and I'm going to target the low of this range right here. Because then right there, maybe price will have the buyers there to go up for that time. And, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll come there and test and start screwing around. Dip below the level, come back, start finding some resistance, just try to swipe above the zone, but then fail and come back. And then in that case, I'm probably going to take another sell down to these lows. And then at these lows, we'll see what happens there. Maybe price will find the momentum to continue in its daily uptrend there. And if not, it'll keep going. So it's just a matter of, watching what price is doing, observing the price action, using logical structured thinking in your trading, like saying like, all right, I know that based on market patterns, when price breaks in zone, comes back and retests it and successfully rejects, I know typically price will go and make a higher high if the trend is going to continue. If it starts coming back to your entry or starts screwing around or going sideways, it typically means that the trade probably isn't going to work out. And even if it does work out, it probably isn't going to work out as easy. Because think about it this way, like if you thought price was going to bounce right here, and so you started entering a buy right there with your stop below the zone, if it doesn't like start going into profit relatively quickly and just find the orders and go up, if it starts screwing around, I mean, typically that means like, it's not enough momentum. Because dude, like if the market was gonna reverse right there, it would have done it like as soon as you entered, just like on 80 JPY yesterday. Like as soon as I took that trade, it found the momentum to go up and make that first move up. Now, did it sustain? No. Screwed around, started coming back down, ended up stopping out. But yeah. So just remember that like a good takeaway from this is that if price is going to make its move, it's typically going to do it right after you enter. As long as you've observed everything and you've looked at the logic behind both the buy and the sell potential for the currency pair, you know, like look at both sides, see like if I was a buyer, what would I be doing? What would I be looking for? If I was already in a buy, where would I be looking to close my trade at? You know, if I was a seller, where would I be looking to close my trade in profit? Like what would have to happen? If I was looking to enter or sell, what would have to happen? And just look at it, you know, from every perspective and find the logic behind like the things in the market. And yeah, it really just takes some practice, some experience and stuff like that. Yeah, and it really takes you just building your own trading system and testing it. My system's been working great for like 3 years, it's more than 3 years. It's been working amazing, and it continues to get better because I continue to learn, I continue to test things, and continue to optimize and improve. You know, even though I feel, you know, I'm already good, I'm already profitable, everything's fine. I was in a live session with a client yesterday, during our group live session, and I have a client named Jerry, and Jerry was saying, he was like, yeah, this year is good for me. You know, I did 100% or 150% returns this year, which is amazing. I mean, every year I pretty much like either double or triple my funds. So for him to do that, that's comparable to kind of the returns I would be getting, 150%. But he said he's like, a lot of the trades that stopped out, I feel like I could have avoided it. And then half of my winners, this is what he said. He's like, half of my winners would have ended up going into more profit. And so we were like trying to figure out ways how we could like help him optimize the system to increase the profitability. So another takeaway here in this video is that trading is like it's a lifelong learning thing. It's like a skill you need to learn. I cover all of this stuff in the free training, so you should really watch that free training if you haven't. If you have not watched my free training and you're still watching these YouTube videos, you are in the dark. Hit the link in the description and just do my free training. It's really eye-opening. It's just 30 minutes long. It's like a fun little video of me like walking around my house and like, you know, like giving examples about things and the things you should be focusing on in your trading. And then, and if you do that free training, you get access to this Telegram channel where I share my trades, where I have break-even days, and sometimes hugely profitable days, all the ups and downs or whatever. Whenever I do post in here, I share it all. I give the full logic. This is that GN trade I called. So yeah, there's that. Hit the like button on this video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next videos. Cheers. See ya.